What can you do? Mariners lose 5-4. They fall to 69 and 67 on the season. And the series against the Angels is even at a game apiece. Go over the scoring plays. Mariners get on the board first with Justin Turner homering in the second inning, 1-0. Joe Adell homers in the third to make it 1-1. Fourth inning, Justin Turner homers again to make it 2-1. Also in that fourth inning, Julio Rodriguez singles home two runners, those runners being Dylan Moore and Victor Robles. 4-1 at the end of four. Sixth inning, Joe Adell hits his second home run of the day to make it 4-2. Mickey Moniak homers in the seventh, so we will talk about the seventh, with Anthony Rendon on base to make it 4-4. And in the bottom of the ninth, Mickey Moniak homers to right, 5-4. So this is kind of crazy. There were 9 runs scored in this game, and there were 3 players who each hit multi-homers. I can't ever remember recalling that. Sarah Langs, you'll have to tell me how common that is. I don't know if Sarah watches these videos. Sarah's the absolute best. Positives. Some good offensive games. Julio hit into a big double play, but 3 more hits, draws a walk. He's currently on one, and in a good way. The lows are low with Julio so far in his first 3 seasons, but the highs are really high. And as much as we will remember that double play, the sharply hit ball that goes right to the second baseman, don't forget the 3 hits or that he had homered in the back-to-back games before that. The Mariners need Julio Rodriguez to be scorching hot over these next 26 games, and right now he is. Great game from Justin Turner. 2 more homers. I think he's hit like 3 with the Mariners now, maybe 4. But nice to see him get going. Needs to be a lefty killer. Needs to be productive. And Dylan Moore with a couple of hits. On the pitching side, JT Chargois works out of a jam. Colin Snyder gets the job done. We got to thank Big Dumper for that. We'll end with that in the positive section. And you know what? Let's just go to it. That play at home plate, that is one of the best double plays I've ever seen, and it just shows you what a fantastic baseball player Big Dumper is. There are so few players who could make that play. There are even fewer who can do that while being on pace to hit like 35 homers. And yeah, he struggled at the plate today, and he's going through a little bit of a lull again. I want to see more consistency at the plate. No question about it. But goodness gracious, what a play in such a huge situation to be able to, on that squeeze attempt, make that play, get the tag down, and then make the throw. Unbelievable work. Unbelievable. You know who does unbelievable work? I bet you can guess. It's Simply Seattle. They provide the very best in Seattle sports gear. Great stuff for the Mariners, of course, but the Seahawks, the Supersonics, the Kraken, the Storm, the Huskies, the Cougars. Find it all at Simply Seattle. Use code MOLLYWOP15 to save 15% off your order. MOLLYWHOP15, www.simplyseattle.com. Link in the description. Here we go. So biggest negative is not only do you lose, Astros win, and it's 5. You're 5 games back with 26 games left to play. Yikes. That's just not, that's not good, man. And I know that's an understatement. And I wish I could give you a better read on that, but I'm not going back and doing this video again. 5 games back again. Negatives offensively. We talked about Cal had a bad game at the plate. Randy had a bad day at the plate. Welcome back, Luis Urias. Ridiculous. We'll talk about it in a second. I'll get there. It's going to be short. Mitch Garver was awful. Polanco comes in as a pinch hitter and does not get the job done in a big situation. I am really struggling with looking at Victor Robles hitting 9th and losing at bats to Mitch Garver, Dylan Moore even with a good game, Luis Urias, and Justin Turner even with a good game. And I know what they're going to say. Hey, it's the second leadoff guy. It's your second leadoff guy. No, it's a guy hitting ninth. It's a guy hitting ninth who doesn't get a chance to do anything special outside of maybe getting driven in by Julio right now. It's so stupid. It's an absolutely dumb decision to hit Victor Robles ninth. It is asinine. It's so dumb. I wish I could be more eloquent than this, but it's dumb. It's not like Robles had a great game. He went 0 for 2 with a run scored and a walk, but how can you justify that guy getting less plate appearances than those names I just named you? How can you justify it? Even JP Crawford, who, I don't think he's had a hit yet since he came back, but is at least drawing some walks. But you've got a guy with a 345 on base percentage, which in today's day and age is really good, hitting ninth because popularity. There's no other reason to justify it. You cannot possibly tell me that JP Crawford is a better hitter than Victor Robles right now, unless you're just the biggest JP Crawford fans in the world. And I know a lot of you are. And that's great. I love his last name, and I loved what he did for the Mariners for the overwhelming majority of the last year. And I think he's a very likable guy. He's not better than Victor Robles. Not right now. It's not even close. The decision to leave Bryan Woo in for the 7th inning of this game, if Scott Service was still here, everyone here would be apoplectic. And you're going to look at the pitch count and say, Chris, what are you talking about? You definitely didn't watch the game if that's your takeaway, or you were blinded by something. Bryan Woo was bad today. He got super lucky to only give up those 2 runs over the first 6 innings. Incredibly lucky. 6 balls in play over 100 miles per hour. You were playing with fire, and Dan Wilson got burnt. I don't blame Bryan Woo for this. Bryan Woo shouldn't have been in the game. Do the Mariners need Bryan Woo to pitch better than he did? Sure. But a grown-up should have made a better decision there. Horrible decision. Horrible decision to leave him in the game. He was getting lit. Tried to get some extra outs, and it burned him bad in a game that they absolutely should not have lost today. And then Andres Munoz. I mean, it wasn't a horrific pitch, but it wasn't good enough. And there's just a few too many of these. It's hard to be perfect. I'm not asking for perfection. But this is like what? 1 out of every 4 or so appearances now that he struggled? Golly, this is a bad loss. Every loss is going to be bad at this point. But especially when you have a 4-1 lead against a crap show of baseball team. And to lose as many games against the Angels as they have is just unacceptable. Unacceptable is an understatement. Goodness gracious. 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position, by the way, today. It just can't happen. And yet, a few people have made this comparison. Being a Mariner fan, you guys know the Sisyphus story. I'm not going to tell the Sisyphus story because it'll be, my dog just sneezed. It'll be a 2-hour video. But man, it sure feels like my dog just sneezed again. It sure feels like us pushing that rock up that mountain, knowing that you can never get that rock over. Every time you feel like that rock is just about to go over that boulder, boom, you give up 2 homers to Mickey Moniak and Joe Adell. And you go 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. And you hit Luis Arias in the middle of your gosh damn order. Sorry for the swear. Or Urias. I'm sorry. As bad as he is, he doesn't deserve to have his name be wronged or said wrong. Please hit like and subscribe. We're getting to time. And some of that has to do with the Astros playing very good baseball, winning a lot of baseball games lately. And more of it, in my humble estimation, has to do with the fact that the Mariners have just been a really bad baseball team since 44 and 31. The math is just there. By the way, so they're 5 games back now in the division. Let's look at the wild card real quick. They're actually closer in the wild card. They're 4.5 games back now. They don't have the tiebreaker against either of the teams that are ahead of them, the Twins and the Red Sox. And there's 2 teams ahead of them compared to 1. But by games back, the wild card is now closer. That's nuts. You had a 10-game lead. Go Notre Dame. Thank goodness Notre Dame won. Because I'm already in a pretty bad mood, but. And go Huskies. They're winning 14-0.